Gonna give it a few minutes here and see what if anybody decides to join us this evening. Pretty nice weather outside. Well, I might be by myself tonight. That's all right. Hey, welcome back to the RC Barn. I am your host, Mike. Pleasure to have you here tonight. And so let's go ahead and do a recap of what we've gotten done on the last week's Sig Wonder build. We built the cows, so if you missed that, pretty cool video. And a lot of information on there. I'm building a balsa cow where you could modify an existing design or whatnot to have some shape and some finish work up in the front. So anyways, today we are going to get going on landing gear. This is going to be kind of a short video because, not short. I'm not going to be cutting any wood or anything. I've already pre-cut a lot of stuff here to get going. Oh, there's somebody. How's it going? Anyways, we are. Oh, and they're gone. It happens a lot. Hopefully we get some people in here, and I got some things to go over here when about the live streaming and how I'll probably end up changing the time because it's absolutely gorgeous outside with the weather, and I'd rather be at the flying field instead of trying to get ready for live stream. Anyways, let's get going on the on this part here. So I'll just bring the camera over, look at it, kind of see what I got going on here. I've talked about doing a skid, the Wonders of belly land plane, and it gets a skid underneath, but I'm going to modify it a little bit for that wheel right there. The main reason for that is I don't want it. I want it short enough to get that it won't interfere with the grass landing, but when we land on asphalt, because I do plan on having this out at Muncie at the asphalt field, I want to try to eliminate as much damage to the bottom landing on asphalt, because out at Muncie there's not a good place to land on grass unless you're over at the grass field. I'm talking Site 3. So I came up with this idea here. Now this is 1/4 inch ply here, and then I opened the cavity up for that inch and a half inch diameter tail wheel, and made these standoffs with a 440 bolt going through the center, and then the tail end there. So yeah, and I quit where the fuselage tilt angles up. No reason to go any further than that, and then radius this end. Now we will be getting some tri-stock in here to reinforce this, because my biggest concern is that's going to break off under normal flight. So I want to try to protect the wheel as much as I can here. And so I opened up a hole in the bottom, kind of keep these separate here. I opened up a hole in the bottom for the tail wheel to slop through, because I didn't want it too tall. So first things first, I'm going to start on this fuselage and get this up here. I need to mark a center line in the fuselage here and get that way she's nice and centered. Oh boy. So it's what, 1, 2, 3, so 1.5 inches. Plus a little more because it's like an 1/8 or 1/16. And so I get them parallel with each other. I'm going to line fuselages up. That way they're straight here, and then I'll open my holes up here, or mark for my holes here. Okay. Another thing I can do too is line up on the bottom here. Use my existing hole to mark my new hole out. We can always open this up later if we need to, but they're a little crooked, so I'm just going to straighten them up here. And yeah, hello. We are putting the skid into the bottom of the fuselage here. I just cut a recess hole into the bottom of the wheel bottom here for my wheel to fit through. I've already set up one side of it. And we got another one. Cool. I almost feel like I should start over again. We've been going for 10 minutes now. So anyways, what I got going on here is I got the standoffs for the wheel to fit through. I was going to go with go with 4 or 2 in each wing, or each fuselage, but I changed my mind. Kind of see what we're doing there, and this will be our main skid here. Kind of like that. Definitely getting down to the nitty gritty here. Then you leave. All right. So what I'm going to do now is line these up the best that I can so that way they're straight. Kind of like that. And we'll go ahead and throw some glue on the tail skid here. I want to make sure I got enough room here to get my tail wheel out when necessary for covering. Okay. Hello. Hello. All right, there we go. I think that'll work just fine. Hey, it rolls. All right, now we got to reinforce it. So I got some tri-stock here, and I'm just going to reinforce these rails so that way they don't go anywhere. And give me a little something to attach covering to and stuff. I made the skids about a 1/2 inch tall, so I picked a tri-stock that will be a little less than that. So boy, the skid will take most of the abuse. And after I get done covering this and stuff, we can always come back through and Add some carbon fiber or some Kevlar to the top of this, or some plastic for it to rub up against. I'm going to take this over to my scroll saw real quick and cut that out. Didn't quite get the mark dark enough. There we go. There's that. It's starting to look pretty dang good. Oh, drop my pencil sharpener. And I'll cut that one off too. Alright, there's that part. I think that looks the part anyways. Definitely raises it up some. Okay. And rinse and repeat on this one, of course. only a few more pieces here to go. And I'll cut this out on the scroll saw once again. That looks all right. Okay. I think my sanding block's over there. I'm gonna. What do I do with it? Is it on there? Just a little bit of light sanding up here to kind of even things out a little bit here. Kind of like that. Not much sanding today, not like last week. Yeah, I like that. Kind of knock them corners off a little bit, make it look a little nicer. Yeah, I like it. I think that'll work just fine. Excuse me. Yep, that'll work. that kind of, like I said, keeps it off the ground a little bit when coming in for a landing. I left the wheels a little tight so that way they have a little bit of a braking to them. And then that way when we're landing on a asphalt runway or whatnot, we won't damage the bottom, and it'll skid to a stop a little easier than sliding all over the place like they like to do. Of course, this will be set up. The radio will be set up so that way I think I can do it where I hit a switch and it'll kill the motors. Hopefully at the same time that'll come with fine tuning everything. I did get this is the left fuselage. I did get the motor mount put back in, and I cut a big hole in the center for the fuel to come through. I ran into a little bit of a problem in a snag where I wanted to run my throttle linkage in here, but I couldn't get past my cow. I kind of went jumped the gun a little bit on that. So I went to Menards and got a massively long 1/8-inch drill bit that's 12 inches long, and I was able to just drill right through all my formers and get the throttle linkage in there. So I get the feeling we're going to be a little nose heavy with the engine choice and how short it is and everything. So I wanted to get the throttle servos as far back as I can. So we're going to do things a little different when it comes time to set that up. I'll put this in and give me just a little bit of enough room to get a clevis on there, and then I'll put a control link, quick link on the back side, and then I'll set my servo to the absolute longest that rod can be. That'll push me as far back as possible. So speaking of servo installation, I am going to let's see. We're gonna get one of our servos installed here. Since we're only a half hour in, we might as well get something else done here. And then I wanted to get onto that next. I need to go get my Allen for the hatch. Wherever it's at. There it is. Ooh, hello. So let's get, we're going to put a rudder servo on one side and an elevator in the other. Going to be underneath this hatch here in the back. Did I glue it down? Quite possibly. Yep. Okay. We can fix that. There we go. That's a little glue got in there. That's okay. So we got the left wing or left fuse. So I'm going to mark this left, I think. Okay. That way they don't get mixed up. And then for servos, I dug some, let's see, that'll probably be throttle. And then I got some 3000. I thought I had another 04. I do. So we got 203, 3003 Futabas for the throttles, and then I got two 3004s for the elevator and rudder. They're a little better of a servo. So we need that. I need some spruce. I think I got. Might have to open the vacuum up. Yeah. Used a lot of this on the cauldron, so I'm running. I've already went through 4 sticks. So I'm just going to mark out my width here. Show you a really neat way of making these up. Nice and strong, and where's my... Got to keep in mind that your fuselage is narrowing up back here, so there's going to be a little bit of a angle to deal with. Anyways, you don't need to be, with this kind of method, you don't need to be real tight. And I'm a little tight there, so I'm going to cut a little bit more off. Yeah, that'll work. So you don't want it tight, you just want it nice and snug but loose. And then, so that'll be our rear mount. And we'll kind of get a servo in here to kind of get an idea where the servo is going to land. Somewhere in there. Okay. Make sure that this is nice and, oh yeah, see, we're a little loose, but we're just a touch loose, but that's all right. This one's a touch tight. That's all right. I didn't think I was going to need my drill, and here I am needing it. So this will probably end up being our elevator servo, because the rudder is going to have to be placed a little bit more, closer to one side here. And seeing as this is the left wing, we'll just put it so it's centered kind of in the rib in the bay here. Yeah, if I can get the boards out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my servo here, and we'll kind of offset it and just kind of eyeball it, and go ahead and really screw in here. Mark her out. Drill a hole. That's just the 16th inch drill bit. Hold on. Something like that. Do the other one here. Okay. Like so. And then what we're going to do is we're going to line the front one up with the rear one. And again, it's only got to be eyeballed, but the closer you get, the better, straighter your servo will be. So take a 90 and 90 that off. Mark our first drill hole here. Okay, that'll work. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come in here and do a test fit. I pretty much want this as far down as I can get it. But I don't want it to interfere with the stabilizer either. That looks pretty good there. We're just below the surface. Now, if you had this thing all not open, like if you were doing this on another airplane, you could come in here and mark kind of where the bottom of your strut supports at. And then what we're going to, but because I got wide open access here, we are, of course, tri-stocking this guy. I'll cut my beveled edges off here. Nobody wants to watch today, huh? Okay. That will give us some support here, and that's why I said it's not that critical if your supports are wide open in there or not, or a real close fit, because we'll epoxy these guys in, and that'll give us a little bit of a shelf to go into. Now I am going to run a little bit of glue here of CA in here just for, so that way I know nothing's going to move. Okay, now I'm gonna mix some 30-minute epoxy up and put my pry stock in, so that way I know my servo is not gonna go anywhere. I know I got another piece here somewhere. Maybe I don't. There it is. Okay. Got my 2 pieces of tri stock set up. Little mixing station. I use some of my scrap. That'll work fine for a mixing stick. Don't need much. I'll put a little bit on each piece of spruce here. Then I like to make sure that I'm angled right so I get the glue on the right side here. And spread her kind of thin there a little bit and push her into place. Nope. I pushed a little too hard. Sorry. Make sure she's still. There we go. Alright. Just want to make sure she's not going to interfere with her stabilizer. That would be a disaster. There we go. I like that. And that gives a nice, clean, straight shot out to the elevator control horn when we get that put in. That'll be right in the center. There's only going to be one, so it's not a very big elevator there. Left wing, so yeah. And if we need to, we can always flip the rod. That's a Dubro heavy duty rod on that one. I don't think I'll be using that. Probably just switch it up for this thing. Toggle one. Alright. Well, I think that's it for today. Everybody's out enjoying the nice weather, and I'm stuck in here building. Not a. All right. Hey, how you doing? I don't have a lot to do today. We just did the landing gear and glued in a elevator servo. And it's going to be rinse and repeat 3 more times for the other servos. I'm going to use the same technique there. Throttle's going to, like I said, going to go as far back in the fuselage as I can because I think we're going to end up nose heavy. I did a pre-balance. Of course, covering is going to add quite a bit of weight to it, but with just motors on it, and it's pretty. It drops the nose pretty quick. I was a little worried about that, but the Sultan Extra actually came out perfect. So we'll see. I don't concern myself too much with balance and weight and all that in it. I'd wait till it gets done. If we have to add weight to it, it is what it is. Most of our airplanes are overpowered, and this one's going to be no exception. So yeah. Anyways, I only got a couple guys here, so we're probably going to call this one a little early. I'm going to get a little hungry. I got a grill waiting for me to cook some T-bones on. So yeah. Anyways, I am. It is just an absolute beautiful day. I was going to go out and do flying this morning, but the weather this morning was crappy and rainy and windy this morning, and it turned out to be a super nice afternoon. But I couldn't go do the revive and fly on the next revive and fly that I've been working on all week. So I am going to take a poll, and we'll decide by Friday. I'll put a poll up in the community page too to see what time frame live streams are going to continue going, because 3 o'clock is a little early for me. I'm thinking either Saturday or Sunday at 6. That would be after dinner. We got the Something Extra build along coming up. Yeah, there's everybody. Everybody's coming home from being outside today. Is everybody gonna stick around for a little bit here? No, somebody left. That's been going on since I started this live stream. I don't know. Yeah, it's like, and it's like, if I do it later on in the evening, I mean, I could even go as late as like 8 o'clock. 7, 8 o'clock. Got to keep in mind I'm on Eastern time, and you're out west, so you're 3 hours behind me. So it's you're probably just finishing up lunch, and I'm getting ready to eat dinner. So 2-3 hours, anyways. So time change affects a lot of people. I think that I'm just getting a feeling that I want to go flying, and I like to leave early in the morning and come home about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and that does not give me enough time to prep for the live stream. I got a lot of Something Extra build is going to be a little different because I'm not going to do any prep work. I'm not going to. I've been working on the Wonders for 3 hours, 4 hours this morning, trying to figure out that landing gear stuff and getting some parts cut out for it. So, and being ready for it, getting my internet hooked up, and and all that good stuff. So I think if we did like late afternoon, I'll put a poll up, and but I would venture to say that next Sunday we're probably either going to be a little later in the day, or if I get a lot of response out of it, I'll do it Saturday night, because job change again, and so I'll no longer have to work Saturdays anymore, which is a good thing. Yeah. Hopefully this is the last one for a long time. I know I keep saying that. But anyhow, we're almost wrapped up here with the Wonder Twin build. Like I said, I'm going to cover all and paint this thing. And so I'm going to do that all off camera. Even if you're not doing the build along with the Something Extra build, it should be a lot of fun. And I will have updates on that Wonder as it goes. I was going to try to get the Cauldron here ready for Toledo. But yeah, exactly. I usually only go flying on Sundays, so yeah, I was going to hopefully have the Cauldron ready for Toledo to kind of have a showcase there, but uh, that dang thing is just, I don't think it's going to be ready. I've been working on it for weeks and weeks and weeks now, and I'm not nowhere near close to where I wanted to be at this point in time of the build season. I thought that was going to be a pretty smooth sailing uh, deal there, but anyhow, let's see. I think next weekend we're going to start working on the dolly for this. I want to build a takeoff dolly. I've never done anything like that before. So I've watched some other guys do dollies. Some have success, some don't. Uh, dolly is definitely going to be a bit of a requirement for that guy. Uh, is going to be a requirement for takeoff on that with twin engines. I'm not going to try to hand launch it, and I'm not going to try to ask anybody else to hand launch it for flight. And plus, I got a lot of time in that thing to have somebody that has an awkward throw, which happens. So I want to build a dolly for it, and I got some ideas in the back of my mind. So we're going to, I'm going to start building a framework up for that, and come up with some landing gear and tires and stuff. So that'll probably be the next episode, and that will probably conclude the Wonder build if I can get something that seems like it works. So in the meantime, this week I am going to get servos in this week, throttle, rudder, elevate, rudder servo. I am going to install these guys for control horns in it. These Debro T-style hinges. Like I said, I did get the, this is the one we did last week. If you were watching last weekend, I did get the cowl all formed up. Some people noted that I had a bit of a gap down here, and when I epoxied this thing in, when I did the fuel proofing this morning, I really doped her in there, so it's nice and solid now. So if you were here for that last weekend's episode where I did the cowl, keep that in mind that if you have gaps or whatnot, you can always fill them in with a little bit of epoxy, and it'll be strong. Because you got to epoxy this anyways, because this will be destroyed in a short period of time. You guys think of the landing gear. I get up to 7, and then sometimes I wonder if they're clicking and leaving, or I don't know. But yeah, I got to get this thing is probably going to be about, I don't know. It'll probably take me 3 weeks to get it covered. So I hope to have it out at Muncie for the National Fun Fly. I'm sure it'll be there. Yeah, so anyways, I'm going to cut this one off here. And again, if you're watching this after the fact and you made it this far, yeah, it does. I like the way it comes out. If you made it this far in the after watching the whole thing, please let me know down in the comments as to whether you want to we should move the date or the times to later in the evening. I don't go to bed till after 10, so like I said, 7, 8, 9 o'clock Eastern time would be a good time frame for me to have them. And then we're going to keep doing these, so I hope we got probably 3 months on to something extra, about 3 or 4 months. And then I think we're going to tackle a restoration after that, because that'll put us towards probably July or August. So that's kind of what I got in the back of my mind. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, because it's like, yeah, guys are at the flying field. I mean, I'm sure most of the Eastern countries at the flying field right now. So, anyways, thanks for joining me. Thanks, RC Flyer, for all the comments. Yeah, a little bit. Kenny, if you we made the tail, the landing skid here. Like I said in one of the previous episodes, I wanted to put a wheel in there, and that's just this 1/4-inch ply, and then this is 1/8-inch ply and a 440 bolt and an 1.5 inch Dubro tail wheel. So we got all that installed and tri-stocked in, and that's just to for asphalt landings. I hope that it's low enough that it won't interfere with a grass landing. But I'm hoping that this little guy here will ease damage on the undercarriage for asphalt runway. And then we got a throttle servo installed there, or elevator servo installed. And I'm going to do the rudder and the dual throttle servos at the same time. We got 6 guys in here. I would appreciate it if you would check back. If you guys watch it later, that's huge for the channel. Now, if you guys watched my video last week, you'll know I did the cowls. Now, I backed myself into a corner with the cowls because I couldn't get my standard 1/8-inch drill bit in here straight. It's too short. So I went to Menards last night after me and the wife went out for dinner. Had a lovely time. And I bought me a 12-inch long 1/8-inch drill bit. And I was able to drill all the way through every former and get my push rod installed. Yep. So I got, this is 1/8-inch, and they had even a 1/16-inch one, so I bought it just in case. So yeah, it's you can always buy yourself out of problems. Usually, I was gonna ask some of you guys. I know there's a way that you can extend smaller drill bits out, and make them longer, especially when you're drilling small stuff like that. I used to know how to do it. I think it involves a piece of brass tubing, and you crimp it, and I don't remember how to do it anymore, so that way your truck's not in the way. I run into that once in a while. Wouldn't mind doing a video on it if I could remember how to do it. So yeah. Anyways, you guys have yourself a good evening and have a good week. And I'll get that poll up here in a minute and see what time you guys want to do, because I wanted to go to the flying field so bad today, and we're getting ready to use yeah, okay. I could see that, like putting a push rod tube in or drilling a hole through a foam wing, yeah, for aileron connections and stuff, yeah. But I'll get a poll up here, and Harbor Freight has 3-foot widths. Holy shit. Okay, I'll have to check that out. Yep, I'll have to check that out. Cool. Let's reconvene next week, and I'll get that poll up for a time change, because I don't want to do 3 o'clock anymore. I'm thinking 6 or 7 Eastern, 8 even, and especially when we get going on something extra build, which will probably be in about 2 weeks. Next week, like I said, we are going to focus on the dolly, and then I'm hoping that maybe, just maybe, I can get some covering done this week. So anyways, thanks guys for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one. Later.